as I know, I spoke with the preacher. This will be our last class until next year. And I'm not sure when we'll pick it back up. It just depends. We'll see how it goes. No certain time. But I don't know how many classes this is. Maybe 8 or 9. Do you know? On the video, what does it say? What lesson it is that we just watched? 9. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of things to cover. There's a lot of things that I've not even touched the surface on. I mean, those people that are trained in sign language and interpreting, again, if you watch the Weather Channel, you're lost with it because it's just off the chart the way they do. It's amazing. But I hope and pray that you've got enough that if you meet a deaf person, if you see someone, don't be afraid to just go speak to them because they would love it. Absolutely love for you to speak to them. Sometimes we shy away, and that's hard even, I mean, to make conversation when we can talk, much less if we're using our hands, because I get so nervous I can't remember who I even am. I mean, I have just stumbled all over, but they don't care. They just want you to talk to them, especially if they're in a family where no one's really learned sign language. And that's a lot of families that have never learned sign language. So don't be afraid to reach out to someone, and you never know how someone may come into your life, and you never know if you will have a child or a grandchild that will be born deaf. And at least you've got a little bit of a head start. But my prayer is that somebody will have it in their heart to further their education in sign language. I think a degree to be an interpreter, it used to be 4 years. I'm not sure if it is now or not, but there's language facilitators. There's all kinds of levels you can work on. You don't have to be like with a degree in it, but there are levels, like to work in the school. You have to have so much of schooling to do that. But you know, I pray that God will put it on somebody's heart. If I had been able to start this sooner in my life, I was older when I had Joshua, and we literally had to learn a lot on our own. It just happened that way. So with all of his sickness and stuff, so you know, my prayer is that through this, it will just plant that little seed in somebody's heart to go a step further in the sign language. And so tonight, we've gone through all of our lists. I think we've had 7 or 8 lists, probably 7, I think. And I know last week we went back over the holidays again. Is everybody pretty comfortable with the holidays? Is everybody pretty well understanding? Or would you want to go over that list one more time since we're going into the holidays? I've got head shaking on the front. Okay. I know some of you weren't, I don't know if you were in here, some of you guys did the holidays. Did y'all get in on that one? Okay. Okay, can I get you to pass those out to those people that don't have one, please? I think some of those guys in the back don't have one. If you don't have lesson 7, raise your hand. That enough for you back there? Got one right there. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to say it, and because we've gone over these twice, so let's see what you can do with it when I say it, okay? Number 1, you ready? Celebrate our anniversary. Okay? Or win. Yesterday, the boys won.
Oh, so this is celebrate
Celebrate or win or anniversary.
Or anniversary.
Okay. Holiday. Yep. Vacation day. It's a holiday. This is just wake up. We got some tired people in here today. Yes, sir.
Is sin similar to?
Sin is down here. This is sin.
Okay.
Celebrate comes up here. Celebrate. You don't want to celebrate sin.
I'm glad you said that. 'Cause I've been-
Yeah, this is celebration, okay? You make it bigger, okay? Celebration. This is sin. Do your ex with sin. Sin. And other people, you'll find sin done a lot of different ways. This is celebration. Okay, there's a difference, okay? And you should be happy when you do this sign.
Mhm.
You should be smiling, yes, you shouldn't be like, sin. Okay, Valentine's Day. Yeah, middle finger. Okay, Valentine's, you draw a heart over your heart with your middle fingers. Valentine's Day. Okay? Valentine's Day. Okay? Sweetheart. Remember those? Okay, your thumbs over your heart. Sweetheart. Okay? Flowers. Easter. Easter or Easter. And what is this? Emergency. Okay. You gotta have that face when you do emergency too. Okay? Easter egg hunt. Easter egg. Break your eggs. Egg hunt. Okay? Okay, do it again. Easter egg hunt. Maybe we should go over the foods again. Yeah, that was fun. Okay, Easter bunny. Okay, Easter bunny can be this, or it could be Easter bunny. Bunny. July the 4th. July 4th. That's it. Independence Day. Take your eyes. Okay. Independence Day. America. Got it? America. Country. You got it? Fireworks. Fireworks. Off of the sky. And the next one, Halloween. Costume. It's just your clothes, your Halloween costume. Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. Or it is Turkey Day. Turkey. Turkey Day. Thanksgiving Day. Turkey. Christmas. Christmas tree. Christmas tree. Happy New Year. 2 ways to do this one. Okay. Happy New. This is new year. Happy New Year. Or you can go happy. One hand. Happy New Year. Or happy next year. Next year.
That one's easier.
That's a fun sign. Okay. Where are we at? Christmas. Oh, okay. I'll skip that one. Santa Claus. Santa. Reindeer. Okay. Or I've seen it. The R's for reindeer. Do you remember the sign for devil? Close.
This one.
Yes, that,
Devil. And this is horse, so don't get them mixed up. Horse and the devil. The devil, you do that really mean thing. Because we hate. And lost my place. Decorate. Okay, decorate, remember, there's several signs for decorate, but now fireworks, you're coming out. Remember? Decorate, you're just gonna decorate the Christmas tree. Okay, the next one is gift. Your ex hand, you're giving it. Give a gift to you, give a gift to me. You do it to the person or back to yourself. Peace. Okay. Mistletoe. Everybody remember this one right off the bat. Yep. What is it? Mistletoe. Bow. Remember the bow? You can tie a bow. And you can, what did we say? You can tie the bow and come out this way. Okay? That's the easiest one to do. Come out. Parade. We're marching in the Christmas parade. Hope we get to have one this year, right? I'm gonna go to like 5 just because I haven't been able to. I love to go to them at nighttime. Beautiful lights. Yes. Okay. And winter. Winter. Spring. Growing up. Spring. Summer. Hot. It's hot. Okay. And fall. Leaves falling off the trees. Okay? All right. So, any questions on those? No? Okay. I was going to, where did I do with that book? I was going to read you, this is a little book called Poems for Deaf Ministries. Wanted to read just a little thing here called A Signing Hand. I watched the faces and did not understand. Then I was enlightened by a signing hand. The confusion slowly faded away as the clouds on a clearing day. I gladly watched the signing hand and smiled because now I understand. So, again, the deaf only know what someone takes the time to tell them with their hands. And if you cannot do anything but smile, it changes everything for everybody. Just a smile. Okay? So I'm going to read you that. And I have another one. I may read that in a minute. But I wanted to do this. Is there, I don't know if everybody can see really well. If we kind of need to group together. If I hold this here, can y'all see, or if someone holds this for me, can y'all see this pretty good? Or do you need to just kind of move over to the picture? Probably not. Can we just kind of come together a little bit on these two right here, or the best we can? Okay, I need someone that is a very good reader and can read clearly to read this for me as I sign it. Yeah. A good reader? You are a good reader. Come on. He doesn't want to toot his own horn, but he's a good reader. Okay, what I want you to do is I want you to read this as you hold the picture up and you're looking at it, okay? And then I'll sign very slow. All right, this is a little track that you give deaf on salvation. Okay, years ago I have taught this when we had a Sunday school class. I did use one of these to one of our deaf men, And it shows the pictures here of, I don't know if you can tell what's going on, but different things that are, I don't know if you can kind of get an idea, you guys with good eyes. It's just talking about sin and the different things that sin does. And this is something put out, and I think this one was put out, I don't know if this was available through Silent Word Ministries. Now, I ordered from Silent Word Ministries years ago. I don't know if they've updated any of their things, but that's a good place to go if you look them up. Bill Rice Ranch is also, but I found that Bill Rice Ranch they were not as updated on some of their things. Both of those are very, very good resources, but Silent Word Ministries is the one we went through in a class. But on the other hand, we had, I don't know if y'all have ever heard of Nathan McConnell. He came to our church 2 or 3 times from Bill Rice Ranch. And he did a couple of classes on us, week classes, and they were really good, really good. So they're both good places to go looking for things. Okay, if you will stand right here in front of the.
Are we like pause?
Well, just read. Just give me time to sign. You don't have to read very slow, but just normal. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Sin bad, bad smoke, bad fight, thumbs down. Angry bad, steal bad, drink bad, God hate bad.
Okay, you're going too fast.
Okay.
The thing is, actually, you're really not, because with the preacher, you got to just try to get in what they say. You've got to try to think in your mind, change it. I'm not changing this though. This is already out. The way it's, as you can tell, he's reading in deaf. Okay, when the preacher preaches, he don't preach in deaf. You've got to change it in your head. So we're always a step behind. So I may be a little behind you, but it's fine. Okay, go ahead.
God hate bad. All bad, baby bad, children bad, adult bad, old people bad, all people bad, me bad before, you bad before, you angry before, all bad.
Okay, flip to the next one.
Oh, wrong way.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Bad wrong. Bad cannot heaven. Die bad, go hell. Hell hot. Hell hurt. God punish bad, hell always. Bad cannot out hell.
Cannot out. Okay.
Bad stay, hell always. God love people. God not want people hell. God love people all. God want people heaven. Jesus and God the same. God give Jesus. Jesus born. Jesus grow up. Jesus teach people. Jesus help sick people. Jesus die cross. Jesus bad. No. Jesus good. Jesus die. Jesus love us. Jesus die my place. Jesus die your place. Jesus die your punish. Place your sin. Jesus himself bad nothing. Jesus good all. Jesus die, forgive my sin. Jesus die, forgive your sin. This boy knows Jesus died, take away sin. He received Jesus. You, me, receive Jesus same. You tell him, Jesus, me bad before. Me sorry. Jesus, you please forgive my sin. Jesus save. Finish me now. Amen. You finish. Accept Jesus. Jesus forgive sin. Sin gone. Sin nothing. Now Jesus finish saved. Heaven. Finish, save Jesus. Die will heaven. Hell, no. Not yet, Jesus hell. Finish, save Jesus. Forgive heaven. You not yet, Jesus. You can change. Not yet, Jesus. You can now, Jesus. Receive and finish saved. You want.
Okay, so I didn't do a great job of signing that, but it was starting to get to my heart. To see a lost person that's deaf get saved is one of the things you'll never ever forget. And it just hit me as I am doing this, kind of as we're standing here. If somebody goes across YouTube, we just gave the plan of salvation to a deaf person. This is going on YouTube. The Lord has a way of doing things and letting this pop up that we don't even know where this will end up. And I did not even do it with the intentions of that, but through this I remembered, wait a minute, this is going on YouTube. And I'm so glad that salvation is so simple that even a deaf person and a child can understand it. And I was hoping that through this you would just get some idea of how you would lead someone to the Lord. It is a different situation because you're using sign. I actually, one of the people that was deaf at several years ago at our church in Asheville, he went to the altar, and he didn't ever usually go to the altar, but I just knelt down beside him and started talking with my hands, and he gives me a clear-cut presentation of salvation. And all of the deaf that we had 4, counting Joshua, 5 sometimes, and they all gave an understanding, because we made sure we went through in Sunday school, that we went through the plan of salvation and taught the simple Bible lessons on salvation. And one of the things we used for that was the Abeka, like the kindergarten and first grade flashcards. Those are excellent to teach deaf. And even though they're adults, because if they've never heard the story, they've got the visual. And another thing is, remember that deaf are visual. Okay? They are visual. When you show pictures and you're teaching a lesson and you show things, I know years ago, and I don't even know if they even still do flannel graphs now. I don't know if that's even a thing of the past. But we used to have a big flannel board, and we would put the figures up, like if it was the story of, you know, the creation or the story of, you know, Jesus' birth, we'd put it up so they could visually see as we spoke. Someone would sign, you know, and it would, you put them up and let them see what was happening. So remember that they're very visual. And your facial expressions really matter, okay? The facial expressions. Because then, if, when he was saying, you know, Jesus bad? No, Jesus good. You know, you've got to put the facial expressions in that. Is there any questions about the little salvation book we just went through? No questions?
Where do you get those?
I'm thinking this came with my things that I ordered from Silent Word Ministries, but I'm not positive. I was on their website about a month ago again, and I was going to order some things, and I just haven't done it. But I was going to, I think it came to that, I'm not positive. Here's another one. This is kind of a track. Now this is Silent Word Ministries. You can go to heaven. And this is a track that we give to the deaf. Okay? And I actually have a few here I'm going to pass out and let you look at them in a few minutes. What time is it? It's 6:33. Okay, because I wanted you to just kind of look and just see. It's very simple. Remember, you're talking very simple. You know, I'll be honest with you. You know, some of the words even my own husband used when he preached, I'm like, honey, where did you get those words? He was the one that, you know, dug around, and then he'd get everything, made everything start with the first letter, you know. Had to start with the letter C or the letter B, and it's a word like, this is not in my vocabulary. You know, you're going to have to tell me what this is because, you know, and we made a joke. I know that one of the girls that signed, she said, you know, she said, sometimes I just have to go to Calvary and start talking about who Jesus is. Because it's like, whoa, especially if you're preaching in Revelation, it's a tough thing to get. I mean, Revelation is a hard book to understand, and when a preacher says I'm going to preach in Revelation and you're in the signing chair, you suddenly get sick, and you make eye contact with the other person that's signing, and you tell them to come on up here. You know, I'm out, I'm gone. The book, you know, the 7 seals. You know, what are you going to do with that? I don't know. Maybe some of you intelligent people can get that point across to a deaf person. I couldn't get a point across to any of you. I mean, it's just, I don't retain, so that's my excuse. Plus, after COVID, I have brain fog. So that sounds really good. It really is, though. I was just telling Ashley about that. But I'm going to pass these around. Maybe y'all can just kind of look at them. But this is the book that first, well, Joshua, of course, got us into sign language. After he got better, I won't say better, but after his health problems improved to where we could deal with his deafness, which was, he was 4 years old when that happened. And then one day, after all it was said and done, when it really hit me, when he started improving a little, because for 4 years he was so sick we didn't think he was going to make it. So I didn't deal with his deafness until he was about 4 years old. And then it hit me that he was never going to hear my voice. And that was tough for me. That was a hard day for me. But as I said at the beginning of this class, Joshua knows I love him more than some children will ever hear their mom or daddy say to them. He knows his family loves him. He knows his church loves him. He knows his friends love him. And that's more than some children when they go to bed tonight that are Joshua's age right now, that are 10, 15, your age. Some of you guys never heard your mom and dad say I love you or hug you. That's hard to comprehend. So I in my heart know that the first voice that child's ever going to hear is going to be the voice of Jesus, which is much better than mine. But then I'm just going to go to heaven and talk to him, because we have a lot of catching up to do. Of course, we got catching up to do now. He talks a lot here, right, Anna? He's got a lot to say. But anyway, when Brother McConnell came and he started teaching us, he handed out these books, and this book tore me up. It just tore me up. Have you heard of Bill Rice Ranch? You've heard of Bill Rice back in the way back. And their daughter was born deaf. And she wrote this book, My Heart for the Deaf. And it's, it was written, well, it was way back. I don't even remember. Kathy Rice, and then her daughter, they didn't know she was deaf at first. And so this is a very good book, and I'm willing to loan it out if you're really, really interested in reading it. Okay, so I'll ask is that you bring it back to me. Okay, so if you want to get this book and read it, and then when you bring it back, if somebody else wants it, I'll pass it along. Especially if you are really interested in someday maybe pursuing it. Maybe if you're not, this may change you. It may change your life. It may change your heart. So, okay. I'm going to pass these out, and y'all just kind of share in your group there and kind of look at them and just give you an idea. Let me see how many I've got. Y'all just kind of pass them around. I'm sorry I don't have any more than this. Okay, just skip to those boys back there then. But if you want to just kind of thumb through it and then pass it around to somebody else to look at. Be sure and be practicing. Even though the classes are not going to continue till later on, after the first of the year sometime, be sure and practice. I mean, they're online. I don't know how long they'll be online. I don't know who does it forever. Okay. So, but while y'all are looking at these and passing them around, I'm going to read this poem here. Will someone sign for me? I know a little silent lad who talks and hears with signs, whose sole communication is what the hand defines. He only asks that folk around compassionate to be, that he might take a little part of his society. He tries to meet his creature needs, warm shelter and a bed. Clean clothes, he seems so grateful as he eats his daily bread. He'd love to hear our laughter. He cherishes our smiles. He loves to hear us tell him that we understand his trials. Come, lad, we'll go to church today where salvation is the key to heaven's glorious portals through the blood of Calvary. Of course the lad would love to, too, but his eyes hold forth the plea. As his challenge moves from hand to heart, will someone sign for me? Oh, may I have a little part in this child's destiny, but for the precious grace of God, the deaf one could be me. So may I meet the challenge to change the outlook grim, to open windows, doors, and worlds, for I will sign for him. The deaf are no different than you and I. They're no different. People think that there's something wrong with a deaf person, that they have a handicap. It's not a handicap. It's not a handicap. I do not look at that as a handicap. That part of their body, their ears don't work. But God has given us sign language. He's given us ways of communication to meet that need. It doesn't mean they're any different than anyone sitting in this room. Now, as Joshua is, he has developmental delays and deafness. But your average deaf person, most of your deaf people are not special needs. We found that out because Joshua was the only, in Asheville, in Buncombe County, he was the only deaf special needs child that they had at the time Joshua was in there. So, I mean, the lady, what is her name that comes from the deaf? The lady that comes and she's in our sign language class. She said she wouldn't be here tonight.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
What is her name? It's like me. Okay, but anyway, you know, she's around the deaf all the time. And, you know, of course, she's learning sign language. She works in the office. I wish I could think of her name. It's not going to do.
We know her face.
Yeah, we know who we're talking about. But anyway, the deaf need someone to sign. A lot of the deaf down at the school for the deaf, they're not all. Some have some developmental delays, but a lot of them are just deaf. They're so different than these girls sitting on the front row. The only thing is they don't hear, so they're learning with their hands. So it's no different. And I will tell you that Brother McConnell told us there's not a lot of men go into sign language, go into interpreting or helping with the deaf. There's just not enough men. And that's a much, much needed thing, especially in the schools, in the public schools and the schools for the deaf. They need that role model. they need that role model. And, you know, like I said, I hope and pray that someone will get a burden to do that. And so that's all I have for tonight. If you want to just look at these books and pass them to the next person so they can look at them. And, but I do encourage you to go on their website, Silent Word Ministries, see what they have available. I've got several things at home from them. And I haven't been on the Bill Rice Ranch lately, so I don't know what they have. But it'll be a help. Does anybody need any of the papers from the classes previous if you're going to look at the videos?